Hey everybody, this is Grace, and in this video I'm going to talk about, well, first off I'm going to say my channel is a variety channel, but this video I'm going to talk about books that I read, and I'm going to go back to about 3.5 years ago. I first got on YouTube on my original channel and started making videos, like I said, about 3.5 years ago, and the only thing I really knew that back then about channels and stuff, one of them was that I thought I could do was Dollar Tree store hauls. So I did one, and I think the next video or the video after that, somewhere around there, I decided to start doing ones on books because I really love reading. And I had a variety of books, and I had them sitting out, and I had them actually on the floor, and I took the video with looking at the books because I had them really spread out. And mentioned that I wanted to finish those books by the end of the year, and it was a challenge to myself. Well, nobody, I don't remember if anybody watched it or very few, like one or two, I don't know. It was really low amount of people watched it, and I don't think anybody commented. And I just decided, well, maybe that's not something to do on YouTube. I was new to it. I hadn't been watching all that long before then, when I decided to start making videos. I didn't even know that, because all I thought YouTube was mainly music. That's really all that I got on, and some of to watch was music, listen to the music, the videos for it, and every once in a while like a how-to on how to speak a different language or something like that. But I didn't know it was all that I now know. But yeah, I didn't see anybody else doing videos about books until I don't know how long after it was, but it was like very, very small community, at least as far as I know. Okay, but I started this channel recently because my original channels, I had more than one, they all had a problem, and it was the same kind of problem. And I do know now that I've started the channel that there is a difference between the ones now and the one back then. And people back then, I've mentioned this in an earlier video, I believe. People back then, they also had other people that had started around that time had problems too. And so I finally, after all this time, I had left that original channel, didn't do any videos for a long while, or off and on. And but the problems kept they were consistent, and finally, just recently I said I really need to just quit those channels. One of them I already had, and that one was I was putting all the videos I didn't really like on it. But anyway, I don't want to go too deep in this part, but I just really today said, okay, enough is enough with those channels, because there's too many problems with them. But anyway, so today I was looking, and I was doing something with this, and it came up somebody with a book review or somehow about a book, and I started thinking, yeah, I would love to find a community of people who read books, fiction, nonfiction, whatever they like to read. Okay, so I did notice that there seems to be a lot more than back then. I haven't done a whole bunch of searching, because there seems like to be some clubs, book clubs like we used to call them. Now, as far as me, what I like to read, well, I went through stages in my life. When I was younger, kids have to read what you have to read for school. But when I was younger, I read mainly nonfiction, mainly fiction at first. It was, romance novels, historical romances. I really liked the historical romances. Some of them were called goth romance. Then didn't it go through a stage where they were called women's fiction, or is that something separate? But yeah, when I was young, that's what I did. Well, I think when I was in the first grade, I was reading mythology, and I love mythology. So way back then, I don't care for it anymore, of course, but well, not really, of course, but I just don't. Anyway, that probably lasted until the time I started attending university. And then I went through, I was a career student, and I went through a stage of reading basically, I think, only nonfiction. And anything, psychology, sociology, physiology, philosophy, anthropology, so forth, so on and so forth. And that's, of course, all the other classes that I had to take and everything. And that's all that I wanted to read was nonfiction. And eventually I started, I guess it was after I finished graduate school, that I started mixing it with fiction again, finally. So now, since then, still, I enjoy a mixture. Sometimes I'll go through a time when I just want to read nonfiction again, but then it doesn't last that long before I want to start reading fiction. And I don't know if I'm just not that picky, but I really don't like buying new books. I guess it was because I was a career student, and the books for each class were sometimes more than what it cost to attend the class. They were expensive. But I prefer buying used books. The cheaper the better. Kind of thing. I don't have to, but yeah, I would prefer that. It seems like, I don't know. I'm not going to say any opinion on it. But I usually go to Half Price Bookstore, and for a while, fiction, novels, romance. I don't even know if I would call them romance anymore. Series and stuff like that were $1, but they recently went up here to $2 on clearance. And but I also like to, like I said, like to read some of the nonfiction, so I buy those there too. But they were usually half price. So okay, but really overall, what I went through a long stage that I only wanted to read. The more recent stage is as far as fiction, it had to be a series. And I don't even know if some of the series, they're still making new ones on them. But I can't remember all their names either, but it would need to be a series. Right now I'm reading one by Sabrina Jeffries. And like I said, they're used books and they're not new. None of them are really that new. And I think this is a trilogy. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember the name of it. Something What the Duke Wants or something like that. I think it's the first in the trilogy. Could have been more. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to I'll do some videos every once in a while about the books that I'm reading, and because I really want to get into that. That's something that really interests me. It really does. I'm a bookworm. I've always been a bookworm since I was a little kid. I'm talking real little. So yeah, I want to do some videos about that. Like I said, my channel is going to be a variety. It won't be just book related. Go from there. Some of my videos are just going to be shopping videos. I might go to Half Price Book. They have several here. I live in the suburb of Dallas, north of it. And they have so many half-price bookstores around here. But there's also a bookstore I've always wanted to go into, and it's not far away. And it was a 75% off bookstore. I don't know why I've never been in it. I don't know why I haven't just gone into it, but I haven't. And sometimes I go to, I found this store one day. It's across from the post office in the next suburb. And I just happened to see it one day, and I'm like, what is this? It was, as it turned out, it was a thrift store that was it's only open on the first and the third weekends of every month, from Thursday to Sunday, and people wait in line for this place. I mean, I'm talking way outdoors in the line, waiting to get in. And the first time I went into it, I was like, I've only been there, I think, 3 times over maybe a year or so. And when I went in, they had books on, I think they were 25 cents each, paperback. Now, I think they also may have had hardback. But I think the paperback was the ones that were 25 cents each. And I stocked up on them. But the last time I went in, I got a whole lid to a box, of them. And when I got them home, they all seemed to have been somehow, they just don't feel right. How sometimes the paper just doesn't feel right. It's too old or something, or it was around something it shouldn't have been. So anyway, so I haven't read those, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But I have a lot of paperbacks that are just sitting in bags and boxes and stuff that I've already read. I used to bring them down to someone I knew worked in a senior living community, and I would bring them down there and give them to her. But they had so many books, too many books. At one point I said, yeah, they don't need them anymore. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them all. Anyway, I think I've said enough for this video. If you want to subscribe to this channel, click the circle. And if you want to watch another video on this channel, click on the rectangles. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you would. And I'll talk to you in another video. Bye.